Outer Wilds is an adventure game in the purest sense of the word. You play as a Harthian called the Hatchling, a four-eyed alien on his first mission into space. Harthians are a peaceful tribe, whose curiosity seems to outweigh their preservation skills. They observe and wander through space, somewhat recklessly, but I can't help but find them incredibly charming. The main gameplay loop involves traveling to planets with a translator to learn about an alien race called the Nomai, and to reconnect with the four Harthians who started the Outer Wilds, a space exploration group we recently joined. They're all posted on different planets, and one of them's been missing for quite some time. The game is a technical marvel. One loading screen is enough to load a multi-planet solar system with events that only occur during certain time, or under certain conditions. There's a day and night cycle for most of the planets, and a physics engine that takes gravity into account. It's incredibly impressive. Usually it's the player character who becomes more powerful, or learns new skills. In the Outer Wilds, progression is tied to what you know. Knowledge is power. Your character doesn't progress, the player does. And once you figure out the mystery, you can just go straight to the ending, which seems bad, but the odds of you stumbling onto the solution are basically none. The computer on your spaceship records your discoveries, and thank God it does that, because it's a lot to keep track of. There's something incredibly satisfying about discovering a new area and learning how the mechanic works. You realize that an area that you'd been to previously had more than you initially thought. You rush back with new information in hand, reading new logs, seeing new areas, and then it happens. Oh man, I need to get back there right now. Timber Hearth is the home of the Hearthians, and it's a tutorial for the majority of the mechanics, which at first seem rudimentary, but the game encourages you to use them in very creative ways. The signal scope and the scout launcher become far more crucial tools than I could have imagined. You also get the chance to test out the spacesuit, with its rocket pack, which is important for places with low gravity or none at all. Remember to stay clear of hazards, whether it's ghost energy, the sun, or even gravity itself. To get the launch codes for the elevator, we need to go to the museum. And here we interface with the technology from the Nomai, a race that predates the Harthians. They're responsible for a lot of the tech innovations that the Harthians use, and we see them in practice, along with other anomalies. Once again, these mechanics become crucial to understanding what's going on. Something that seems inconsequential might just be the missing piece you need to progress. You might just need to think about it from a different perspective. So, why are we going to space? You're the first Harthian to test out the Nomai translator, which is a big deal considering how much of their text is scattered in the solar system. But other than that, you're free to do what you like. But there is a problem. After enough time passes, something happens. We awaken to find out that we're back where we started. Same planet, same campfire, same time. Now that we're stuck in a time loop, where do we go? Although it's the tutorial planet, it still has its fair share of secrets. Nomai texts can be discovered in waterways and caves. And something sinister seems to have landed here. There's also a moon that orbits close by. It acts as an observation point of sorts. A kind of double planet that transfers sand from one planet to the other. The Nomai have set up various stations on this planet and seem to have achieved a few scientific breakthroughs in the process. A planet that seems to be on the verge of collapse. The Nomai made a settlement here with the purpose of studying the black hole at the center of the planet. An ocean planet with an extremely volatile weather cycle. If you have thalassophobia, this might be a little rough. A comet that has the remains of a Nomai expedition. Something extremely dangerous sits in its core. I'm not sure words could do it justice, but it seems to be a void filled with parasitic bramble. You might have a bad time here. The founding members of the Outer Wilds are scattered around these planets. You can run information by them, and they can point you in the right direction in some cases. You can use the signal scope to track them down, as they're usually playing their instruments. Some are definitely more useful than others, but they're all charming in their own way. After translating several texts from the Nomai, we make many world-altering discoveries. As it turns out, the Nomai have come to this solar system chasing what they refer to as the Eye, an entity that they believe predates the creation of the universe. Unfortunately, they were swallowed by the dark bramble on their arrival, and when they attempted to escape, only a couple of the escape pods made it out. The survivors then settled in this solar system, but didn't give up their search for the Eye of the universe, attempted to use probes to locate it, and even stumbled into discovering a kind of time travel, or time loop, depending on your perspective. But they still needed an immense level of energy for their goals. You get glimpses into their personal lives: family, friends, lovers, mentors. They seem quite similar to the Harthians in many ways, albeit more science-focused. Completing the game requires placing several pieces of the puzzle in the right place. How does warping work? Why does the sun go supernova after 22
Why
minutes?
do we keep coming back?
How do we reach the research?
How do
What
we
are the
reach the
coordinates
vessel?
to the
How do we
Eye?
get into
Where
its
can I find a
substrate?
replacement
How does
of warp
teleporting
travel?
work?
Is there any
What is the
Nomai
Eye
left
of the
in the
universe?
galaxy? Well, it turns out there are some well thought out answers to these questions, and then some. So what happens in the Eye of the universe? Well,